Good morning. For each of the questions that you missed on the test, you need to work out every problem on the revisions paper. You need to staple the revisions paper on top of your test paper. The retest will be this Thursday, November 29th at 8 a.m. Thank you. Question 1. At the Christmas celebration, there were 18 cups of drinks and only 10 children. So I'm going to highlight 18 cups and 10 children. And then I'm going to continue reading, and it says, what was the ratio of children to cups? So I know I need to start with the children because it's children to cups. So my first ratio is going to be, or my first number in my ratio is going to be 10, because that's how many children there were. And then 18, which will be my cups. So I've got 10/18, which I need to then simplify by dividing each of these by 2. And 10 divided by 2 is 5, and 18 divided by 2 is 9, so it is 5/9. Make sure for each question you're writing down all the work. Okay, next one. In a classroom, there were 12 boys in a room of 20 students. So we've got 12 to 20. It says, what is the ratio of boys to girls? So I know that there are 20 students, and since there are 20 students, and 12 of them are boys, I know that there are 8 girls. So I want the ratio of boys, which is 12, to girls, which is 8. So 12/8. None of these is over here, so that means I need to simplify, and each of these can be divided by 4. 12 divided by 4 is 3. 8 divided by 4 is 2, so it's a 3-to-2 ratio. Farmer Mac gathered 60 eggs from 15 chickens. What is the rate of eggs per chicken? So we've got 60 eggs to 15 chickens. Each of these can be divided by 5, which gives me 12 eggs for 3 chickens. And each of those can be divided by 3, which gives me 4 eggs per 1 chicken. Next one, Alan and his family are going on a trip to Orlando, Florida on vacation. While in the car, Alan's dad drives 438 miles in 6 hours. What was his unit rate in miles per hour? So I need to divide by 6 and divide by 6. 436 divided by 6. 6 goes into 43 7 times. I get 16. 6 goes into 16. Or 8, sorry, 6 goes into 18 3 times, so his rate is 73 miles in 1 hour. Next one, a cheetah runs 177 miles in 3 hours. At this rate, how long will it take him to run 472 miles? So I'm going to go down to 1, 3 into 177 goes 6, 5, which will give me 15. And then that gives me 9. So the cheetah is running 59 miles per hour. 472 divided by 59. Let's go with 8. 8 times 9, 72, and 472. So it will take him 8 hours to run that distance. Next one. 2 cups of sugar for 6 dozen cookies. A dozen is 12, so 6 times 12 is 72. So 2 cups of sugar for 72 cookies, and then I need to make 36 cookies. So that's dividing by 2, and that's dividing by 2, which would give me 1 cup. Okay, next question. Kyra is running a marathon. She could run 10 miles in 2 hours and 30 minutes. How many minutes will it take her to run 20 miles? So 2 hours equals 2 times of 60, which is 120, plus the 30, which is 150 minutes. So for 10 miles, it takes her 150 minutes. So for 20 miles, it will take her times 2 times 2, 300 minutes. Next one, Alec wants to know what the price of 5 calculators could be. He used the information from the table to figure out the cost of 5 calculators would be $30. Explain 2 ways that he could have determined the cost of 5 calculators. So the first thing I need to do is I need to figure out what's going on here. And so I know that I can go back here to the 2 by dividing 20 by 10. And if I divide 20 by 10, that means I need to divide 120 by 10, so that would be 12. So 12 calculators are, or 2 calculators rather, are $12. So divide by 2, and then divide by 2, which would give me 6. So that's one way he could have done it, to get the unit price. And then go up, and go up. So that means that we would get the 30. Another way we could have done it was we could have seen that this was times 6, and then here is times 6. So whatever ways you put down there, just need to be 2 ways. But you also need to fill in this chart. And so this would be 18. And then this would be, because it's times 4 times 4, 24. And then here, we need to go times 10 times 10, which would be 60. And then, remember this is 30. And then times 15 times 15, which would be 90. Lots of you all missed right here, so make sure you fix that up. Okay, next one. In Mrs. Powell's class, the tables are 3 feet 5 inches long. Okay, and she placed 5 of them end to end. So I want to know the total length of 5 tables in inches. So one table is 3 feet, and I know that 3 feet 5 inches. So I know that 3 feet is 3 times 12 inches, which is 36 inches, plus the 5 inches that I started with. So one table is 41 inches long. So now I can either add 5 41s together or multiply this by 5 to get my final answer. So do that math. Okay, next one. Maria can drive her car using 375 miles, using 25 gallons of gas. Okay, so here I have my rate table. So the first thing I'm going to do is I am going to go back to 1 by dividing by 25. And if I divide 375 by 25, I get 15. And then I'll go to 2. So to get to 2, I'm going to multiply by 2. So this would be 30. And then I've got to figure out where I'm going to go. So I'll go up here to 10. So that's times 5, and so that times 5. So that's 150. But now I've got to go here. So I need to divide by 15, and that gives me 5. So this number up here is 5. And then I need to do 135 divided by 15. And then that gives me 9. So that gives me 9. So I need to fill in my table. Then I'm going to graph my table. And so I know that my first number on my table was 115. And so on the graph, down here at the bottom, this is 3. And then we had 6, and then 9. And going up on the y-axis, I had 30, 60, 90. So when I'm looking at this, I've got to figure out where that 115 is going to go. So 1 is going to be about here, and 15 is going to be about halfway up. So it's going to be about there. So this is my 115 point. And then I put my other points on here. So I had 230, which is going to be about here. And then I had 345, which is going to be about here, and so forth. So those are my points. But then I wanted you to circle your unit rate point, and your unit rate point is always what 1 is with. So 115 was your unit rate. Okay, next one. Jillian and her friend went shopping. Jillian bought 4 CDs for $25.58, and her friend bought 3 CDs for $18.45. So I need to divide each of those to get my prices. And when I do that, so I've got 38, so this is about 9, so about 640. So the person who gets the better deal is the person who plays less, so that would be Jillian's friend. She paid less. Juan got 16 out of 20 questions right on his math test. Well, if I compare that to 100, it's times 5 times 5, so he got 80 out of 100. Then on his social studies test, he got 19 out of 25, which would be 100, so times 4, which is 76. So he did better on his math test. The dog goes seconds and feet. So the dog goes in 8 seconds, they go 342 feet. So in 1 second, so when I divide this by 8 and divide this by 8, I get about 43.75 feet. And then the cat goes 231 feet in 6 seconds. If I divide this by 6 and this by 6, I get 38.5. So because the dog in 1 second goes 43 feet, he is going faster than the cat who in 1 second goes 38 feet. Okay, you can do 25 words per minute. So 4,500 divided by 25. That's about 180 minutes. But then you were being asked about how many hours. So 180 minutes divided by 60 minutes per hour gives me 3 hours. Okay, next one, Stories.com sells its audiobooks. They get 30 audiobooks for $39. That means one audiobook costs $13, which means 7 audiobooks cost $91. And then if I had $52, that's going to be times 4 times 4. Okay, next one, there are 20 bottles of water and 24 packages of crackers. We want to put these in survival kits. So I've got 20 and 24. If I divide each of these by 4, I get 5 waters and 24 crackers, so 6 crackers. So I can make 4 kits. And in each kit, there will be 5 waters and 6 crackers. Okay, here I draw a rainbow to each term. So 6 times 5 plus 6 times 3, or 5 plus 3 is 8, so 6 times 8, or 30 plus 18. So the third one does not work because they forgot to multiply the 3 by the 6. All right, and then finally, the Sarah question. So Sarah and her brother are going to Florida. She can go 174 miles in 3 hours. So 3 hours, 174 miles, divide by 3, divide by 3. So that means that Sarah can go 58 miles in 1 hour. And so she wants to go 290 miles. So 290 miles. So 58 times what is 290? Well, that's times 5. So it's going to take her 5 hours to travel. And then her brother is going 72 miles an hour. And so in 1 hour, he can go 72 miles. He also wants to go 290 miles. So that's about times 4, and that's about times 4. So it's going to take him 4 hours. And then the question was, how much sooner will he arrive? Well, if it takes her 5 hours and him 4, he will get there 1 hour earlier.